A composer is someone who creates and organizes music. The composer invents musical themes and the frame that supports those themes. Now, when you hear everyone in the band playing together, generally we're playing music that's written. Maybe you noticed in that first performance that at certain times, one person plays with the rhythm section. That's the bass, the drums, and the piano. Well, when one person is playing, that's called a solo, and it's improvised on the frame provided by the composer. In this way, a composer has the most influence on all aspects of a performance. No theme, no music. No frame, no improvisation. It's easy to identify the theme of a composition. It's like the subject of a painting, but it's a lot more difficult to identify the frame. Before we get confused, let's let the music explain itself. This is the theme of a Horace Silver composition entitled The Preacher. The theme is obvious. You can probably sing it. As a matter of fact, let me just hear you. But I bet you didn't notice the frame. That's the form and structure of the piece. Let's hear the rhythm section play the same music, but with no theme. There it is, the theme and the frame that supports the theme. Now we're going to go back to that first question. Do y'all play whatever y'all want to play when you play jazz? Well, if we were playing whatever we wanted to play, it would sound like this. Now, you could probably get a grant with that, but if that was all a composer did, we wouldn't have that much to talk about. So a composer writes the music and organizes it so we all know what we're going to play and what we're going to improvise on. A composer has to have something to write music about. That would be the theme. Like you might go to your room and draw something. Well, you have to have some idea of what you're going to draw. It might be something to give you a mood, make you happy or mad. You might want to draw your mother or yourself and your friends, a dragon, a dinosaur. You might just want to put some colors on the page. You have to have a theme. And also, whatever you draw, you have some type of frame, even if it's just the paper that you're drawing it on. A composer does the same thing in the invisible world of music. Now we're going to play a longer version of The Preacher. I want you all to listen for the theme. It sounds like a country preacher. I want you all to listen for the groove that the rhythm section is playing. And I want you all to listen even more closely to how the soloist plays on the frame that underlies the theme.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Now we know how to hear the theme, and we know that the theme has a frame. But that's not all a composer does, oh no. Another important part of composing is what we call developing the theme. You develop a theme by stretching it out, turning it around, making certain notes long and certain ones short, some fast, some slow, and sometimes you repeat things. Now we're really used to developing things because we do this when we're talking. Like if you really want to see something on TV that your parents just don't want you to see. Can I see my show? It's at 8 o'clock. No. Please? You have homework to do. But it's early. It's only 8 o'clock. I said no. My homework is finished. What about my show? Didn't you hear what I said? But no one is watching the TV. My show, my show, my show. You see, you change it and you keep coming back to the theme that you want. So do your parents. We do that in music too. Let's hear the theme of a Thelonious Monk composition entitled Green Chimneys. 1, 2, One thing you might have noticed about Green Chimneys is that the theme was played in the middle section at a different pitch. We call this a change of key. This key change is the bridge, and the bridge takes you away and then right back where you started. You can look at keys in music exactly like you would look at some keys on a keychain. Each key opens another door, and if you open that door, you can go into another room. That's how keys work for composers. In music, we have 12 keys, just like the months of the year. When a composer wants to develop a theme, they can go from the kitchen to the living room to the bathroom, or from January to July to October. Now we're going to play Green Chimneys in different keys so that you can hear how the key changes the perspective of a theme. We're going to play Green Chimneys again and see how the bridge takes us away, and then it's going to bring us right back. I want you all to raise your hands when you feel that we've changed keys. 1, 2, I want you all to observe that the themes we've played for you today have distinctly different feelings. Wayne Shorter's Tom Thumb, Horace Silver's The Preacher, and Thelonious Monk's Green Chimneys. This is because a composer always strives to write music that has their individual sound and feeling all through it. They want their music to be identifiable and unique. And that's a definition of Monk, even down to his name. Now we'll do a complete performance with improvisation on Thelonious Monk's Green Chimneys. Now, Miles Davis's music is laid back and the themes are short. He was a man who spoke in very short sentences, very softly. He believed in silence and in holding notes for long periods of time. The silence allowed each theme to soak in, and the long notes let you feel the emotional weight of his sound. Miles's compositions generally inspire you to improvise shorter, more compact phrases than Dizzy's. Let's hear Milestones. The greatest composer in all of American music is Duke Ellington. He wrote music for every imaginable reason. He was a master of inventing memorable themes and structures. His themes inspired great improvisations. He also had many interesting ways to develop these themes. You remember that we were talking about developing and stretching and turning and tossing themes, going in different keys and all of this. Duke really knew how to do this. Mr. Ellington wrote millions of notes on paper. That paper is called a score, and the composer uses the score the same way that we would use a map. The score lets you know where everything is. Let's go through the score of one of Ellington's great masterworks to see how he developed the composition. This piece is entitled The Tattooed Bride. First, we have the basic 4-note theme played down low on the baritone saxophone. Then we have that same 4-note theme played on another instrument, the piano, at a faster tempo, with the introduction of a second theme, bo-bo-bo-dom, bo-bo-bo-bo-bo-bo-bo-bom, and that rounds things out. Another way to develop the character of a theme is to pass it around the band. Let everybody get a chance at it. One instrument plays it, then another, all with different sounds and at a different altitude. These altitudes are called registers. Then Duke adds some new music to the basic 4-note theme, and we hear it at an even faster tempo. I want you to notice how he's showing us different perspectives and ways that this same theme can be played and keep the music interesting. Check the trombone section out. In another section of the piece, this same 4-note theme is played at a much slower tempo and on the low, sultry clarinet. Notice how the 4 notes now have an entirely different feeling. Also, Duke answers the clarinet theme with another 4-note response from the saxophone section. Let's not forget our second theme, the little scale. Hear how Duke breaks the scale up and has many instruments playing parts of it in rapid response to each other. To go from one section to another, composers use something that we call a transition. Transitions are like elevators. They bring you smoothly and painlessly into a different environment. Let's hear how Duke slows the tempo down by using a call and response between the brass and the reeds, a decrescendo, which means a decrease in volume, and a retard, which means to get slower. This is a transition. To go from one section to another, composers use something that we call a transition. Transitions are like elevators. They bring you smoothly and painlessly into a different environment. Let's hear how Duke slows the tempo down by using a call and response between the brass and the reeds, a decrescendo, which means a decrease in volume, and a retard, which means to get slower. This is a transition. Now we're going to play an abbreviated version of The Tattooed Bride, the pinnacle of jazz composition by the master, Duke Ellington.